Welcome to LC Screen Talk. My name is Larry, and this is my review of AntMan. So Marvel has not really steered me wrong, if we overlook Iron Man 2, up until this point when it comes to the Marvel Cinematic Universe. So when I was hearing all these negative things leading into the release of Ant-Man, with directors, with writing, with creative differences, with changing of names and origin stories, I was very, very scared. And then I saw the first couple of trailers, and I have to admit, I still was not convinced. So, did the final product deserve to have the Marvel Cinematic Universe name scroll before those opening credits? Or is this, quite frankly, a super heroic bust? Well, I don't think it's quite either one of those. As a film, Ant-Man is a good, solid film. But as a superhero film, I'm not really positive how I actually feel about it yet. So let's go ahead and just talk through what my thoughts on Ant-Man in general are, shall we? Overall, the cast is really, really good. Paul Rudd is his usual hilarious self, and I think he decently pulls off a superhero role. I'm still completely not convinced that he is a superhero or that he as an actor knows how to fully embrace this kind of role, but he injects enough of his own personality that makes it authentic, and he kind of just lets Marvel do the rest of the work with CGI and costuming. And I think Paul Rudd is the center of our juxtaposition here. Is this a comedy or is this a superhero film? Because right now it feels like a very odd mixture of both, and it couldn't really decide which way it wanted to commit to. And that's where Ant-Man suffers the most. But let's go ahead, talk about the rest of the cast, and then we'll circle back around to this main issue. Michael Douglas was really great, and I think it was so fantastic that they had him in this film, and Marvel is going to be thanking their lucky stars they were able to get an actor of Michael Douglas's caliber, because he added so much needed gravitas to the film. He just anchored everything, and I think without Michael Douglas, this movie would have been on some really, really shaky ground. Evangeline Lilly was also really, really strong, and I'm excited to see her moving forward with the Marvel Cinematic Universe. So I loved her. I thought she pulled it off. Corey Stoll, though, as our villain, I wasn't buying it. He was very much a mustache twirler, and he didn't bring too much humanity. He injected a little tiny bit every now and then, but really I just thought he was over the top and just another not so great Marvel villain. And then with our supporting cast, you know, Michael Pena was really funny. He had a couple times where I was like, okay, usher him on out. T.I. didn't really add anything to the film. And then we get some great Marvel Cinematic Universe cameos that I personally loved. But, like I said, the weirdness comes with the tone of the film. It is just so much comedy that if you take this as a lighthearted, family-friendly comedy, it's a huge success. It is very funny, and it keeps you entertained. So you can't deny the watchability factor of this film. We saw some of the gags in the trailers, but that's not nearly all of them. And they keep rolling and rolling and rolling. The jokes are punchy, they're fast, they're funny, and it is a lot of fun to experience the film. But it's so lighthearted in nature that it feels not rooted in reality. That's aided by some of the science and logic that's used. They really stretch how far outside of our actual universe they're taking Ant-Man here. And, in fact, taking the Marvel Cinematic Universe. It's a lot easier to digest with things like Thor, because he's from a whole nother planet, he's from a different place, so we can accept that he's different and he has superpowers. Here with Ant-Man, you can digest some of the science, but since it is set here on Earth, we kind of expect some believability, and they really stretch your limits on how far you're willing to give Marvel with that creative freedom here. I did think that they pulled off the visuals so amazingly well. From the shrinking to the upsizing, it all looked fantastic, and they really made it not so much of a joke, because I was like, oh my gosh, this is going to be such a joke to see this little tiny thing like running up and punching people in the face. But no, it came across very well on the big screen. And I really loved the utilization of the ants and the relationship that AntMan made with his ants throughout the film. I thought it was sweet, I thought it was great, and I hope we get to see more of the ants and more of that relationship developed in the further coming movies. But I'm still a little confused on why we needed to change so much backstory, why Hank Pym is not our main character here. He is synonymous with the comic books with Ant-Man, so I'm not sure why they felt the need to change that, why they felt the need to change his daughter's name and her origin story as well. That doesn't really make sense to me. Thankfully, they gave those two big, substantial roles and paid homage to their characters. And Hank Pym, once you get into the film, you'll see that he was the original Ant-Man. Sorry, spoiler alert. But it all is just a little bit perplexing still. And finally, what I really did enjoy about the movie is that Marvel is all in, committed to making this one universe. They are very self-aware. They're not trying to put Ant-Man in a little vacuum by himself here. He's on Earth. He knows about the Avengers. He knows about all the other craziness that's been going on. I love the self-referential writing throughout one of the Avengers. I mean, you've seen him in the trailers, but I guess I won't say his name here. Shows up, and it all just weaves its way in and out of the Marvel Cinematic Universe perfectly. And it has two of the best post-credit scenes yet. So make sure you stay all the way through to the very, very end so you see both. There are two post-credit scenes because they are worth it. They move the story along, and they're worth your time to wait and see, especially if you're a Marvel fanatic and can't wait for Civil War coming out next year. So overall, I liked Ant-Man. I think it's a solid movie that is a little inconsistent and uneven in tone, but is a fun time at the movies. So I would definitely recommend Ant-Man as some weekend blockbuster popcorn flick filler. But unfortunately, it does fall on the lower end of Marvel films in my book. So, that has been my review of Ant-Man. I hope you enjoyed it. If you did, go ahead, click like down below and subscribe to the channel so you are always up to date on our latest videos. Also, have you seen Ant-Man? Are you excited to see Ant-Man? And what Marvel Cinematic Universe film are you most excited to see that's on their upcoming slate? Let me know either in the comment section down below or hit me up on Twitter. I love you all so much for your support. Mwah! Thank you for watching, and I'll see you next time. Bye!